All ye, who in small bark have following sailed, eager to listen, on the advent-roused track of my proud keel, that singing cuts its way, backward return with speed, and your own shores revisit, nor put out to open sea, where losing me, perchance ye may remain bewildered in deep maze. The way I pass ne'er yet was run, Minerva breathes the gale, Apollo guides me, and another 9 to my rapt sight the Arctic beams reveal. Ye other few, who have outstretched the neck, timely for food of angels, on which here they live, yet never know satiety, through the deep brine ye fearless may put out your vessel, marking, while the furrow broad before you in the wave, that on both sides equal returns. Those, glorious, who passed o'er to Colchos, wondered not as ye will do, when they saw Jason following the plough. The increate perpetual thirst, that draws toward the realm of God's own form, bore us swift almost as the heaven ye behold. Beatrice upward gazed, and I on her, and in such space as on the notch a dart is placked, then loosened flies, I saw myself arrived, where Wandross thing engagged my sight. Whence she, to whom no work of mine was hid, turning to me, with aspect glad as fair, bespake me, gratefully direct thy mind to God, through whom to this first star we come. Me seemed as if a cloud had covered us, translucent, solid, firm, and polished bright, like adamant, which the sun's beam had smit within itself. The ever-during pearl received us, as the wave a ray of light receives, and rests unbroken. If I then was of corporeal frame, and it transcend our weaker thought, how one dimension thus another could endure, which needs must be if body enter body, how much more must the desire inflame us to behold that essence, which discovers by what means God and our nature joined? There will be seen that which we hold through faith, not shown by proof, but in itself intelligibly plain, e'en is the truth that man at first believes. I answered, Lady, I with thoughts devout, such as I best can frame, give thanks to him, who hath removed me from the mortal world. But tell, I pray thee, whence the gloomy spots upon this body, which below on earth give rise to talk of Cain and fabling quaint? She somewhat smiled, then spake, If mortals err in their opinion, when the key of sense unlocks not, surely wonder's weapon keen ought not to pierce thee, since thou find'st, the wings of reason to pursue the senses' flight are short. But what thy own thought is, declare. Then what various here above appears, is caused, I deem, by bodies dense or rare. She then resumed, Thou certainly wilt see in falsehood thy belief o'erwhelmed, if well thou listen to the arguments, which I shall bring to face it. The eighth sphere displays numberless lights, the which in kind and size may be remarked of different aspects. If rare or dense of that were cause alone, one single virtue then would be in all, alike distributed, or more, or less. Different virtues needs must be the fruits of formal principles, and these, save one, will by thy reasoning be destroyed. Beside, if rarity were of that dusk the cause, which thou inquirest, either in some part that planet must throughout be void, nor fed with its own matter, or, as bodies share their fat and leanness, in like manner this must in its volume change the leaves. The first, if it were true, had through the sun's eclipse been manifested, by transparency of light, as through aught rare beside Ephest. But this is not. Therefore remains to see the other cause, and if the other fall, erroneous so must prove what seemed to thee. If not from side to side this rarity pass through, there needs must be a limit, whence its contrary no further lets it pass. And hence the beam, that from without proceeds, must be poured back, as color comes, through glass reflected, which behind it lead conceals. Now wilt thou say, that there of murkier hue than in the other part the ray is shown, by being thence refracted farther back? From this perplexity will free thee soon experience, if thereof thou trial make, the fountain whence your arts derive their stream. 3 mirrors shalt thou take, and 2 remove from thee alike, and more remote the third. Betwixt the former pair, shall meet thine eyes, then turn toward them, cause behind thy back a light to stand, that on the 3 shall shine, and thus reflected come to thee from all. Though that beheld most distant do not stretch a space so ample, yet in brightness thou will own it equaling the rest. But now, as under snow the ground, if the warm ray smites it, remains dismantled of the hue and cold, that covered it before, so thee, dismantled in thy mind, I will inform with light so lively, that the tremulous beam shall quiver where it falls. Within the heaven, where peace divine inhabits, circles round a body, in whose virtue dies the being of all that it contains. The following heaven, that hath so many lights, this being divides, through different essences, from it distinct, and yet contained within it. The other orbs their separate distinctions variously dispose, for their own seed and produce apartment. Thus do these organs of the world proceed, as thou beholdest now, from step to step, their influences from above deriving, and thence transmitting downwards. Mark me well, how through this passage to the truth I ford, the truth thou lovest, that thou henceforth alone mayst know to keep the shallows safe, untold. The virtue and motion of the sacred orbs, as mallet by the workman's hand, must needs by blessed movers be inspurred. This heaven, made beauteous by so many luminaries, from the deep spirit, that moves its circling sphere, its image takes and impresses a seal, and as the soul, that dwells within your dust, through members different, yet together formed, in different powers resolves itself, e'en so the intellectual efficacy unfolds its goodness multiplied throughout the stars, on its own unity revolving still. Different virtue compact different makes with the precious body it enlivens, with which it knits, as life in you is knit. From its original nature full of joy, the virtue mingled through the body shines, as joy through pupil of the living eye. From hence proceeds, that which from light to light seems different, and not from dense or rare. This is the formal cause, that generates proportion to its power, the dusk or clear.